We'll load up the motor home and have a holiday for two. We'll pack our bags and bring the dogs and have a holiday for two.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dave here. Welcome to Holiday for Two. I hope you have a good day. And of course, like always, I wish you a great week ahead. And may your coffee be hot and your day be cool. Well, that is if you're in Arizona, right? Speaking of Arizona, today I'm going to be talking about 5 campgrounds I'm going to share with you that are great to get away to in the summertime. Some of these campgrounds I haven't mentioned in any videos yet, so these are going to be some new ones. Some will be small campgrounds and kind of intimate campgrounds, but they're all at least 7,700 feet or higher in elevation, so they're going to be great campgrounds to go to when the heat gets on in Phoenix. So stay tuned for 5 of the coolest campgrounds in Arizona. Let's go.
I'm hoping I can take a holiday and spend some time with you. Trying hard to take some time away and have a peaceful day or two. So someday when my ship comes in, I know just what we'll do. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two.
All right, let's start with the first one. This one is a small one, and actually the first 2 are pretty close together. I'll show you where these are on the map. And if available, if I have any videos that I've done on these campgrounds in the past, I'll put little links up here in the corner so you can click on them. And I'll let you know which ones do have links that you can go check them out for further information. Let's start with the first one. This one is a campground that's up in northern Arizona. In fact, most of these you're going to find on the east side of Arizona, what they call the White Mountains, which runs typically from, now somebody's going to correct me on this, but I'm going to say Forest Lakes, Payson, Show Low area, all the way over to Alpine. And that's kind of what I call the White Mountains. Payson is kind of the limit on the west end of the White Mountains, but the Mogollon Rim goes all the way over to Alpine. Beautiful camping, high elevations, great for cool camping in the summertime, and that's the trick. You want to get as high as possible, and campground number 1 is one of the highest campgrounds in Arizona. At number 1 is KP Cienega Campground. I'll show you where it's at here on the video and let you see some pictures of it. KP Cienega Campground runs about 9,000 feet. It's near Hannagan Meadow in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. This is a small, secluded campground. It features 5 sites tucked away in high country spruce and fir trees. It's known for its quiet, backcountry feel and is a great spot for seeing wildlife like elk and black bears. Some amenities are things like vault toilets, seasonal water, and of course pets are allowed. And not too far from there will be our number 2 campsite. But before I go on to the number 2 campsite, let me show you something that if you don't have one of these, make sure you get one, because all of these campsites, or at least most of them, I think there's one of them that's actually free, but these campgrounds are available on recreation.gov. And if you have the America the Beautiful Pass, you have one of those, then you can get these campsites at 50% off. If you don't have an America the Beautiful Pass, I'll put a link down below so you can go check it out and see if you can get one of these and see what the eligibility requirements are for getting an America the Beautiful Pass. So that is a definite must get, because it gets you discounts on national parks, campgrounds, and other national parks all across America. So thumbs up on that. Well, let's get to the number 2 campground, which is actually really close to the first one I did, KP Cienega. Number 2, Hannagan Campground. I call it Hannagan Meadow. I've been there before. It's one of the highest campgrounds at 9,120 feet south of Alpine on U.S. Highway 191. One of the highest established campgrounds in the state of Arizona, offering deliciously cool temperatures in the summertime. It provides a rustic experience under a canopy of ponderosa pines and aspen. Love those aspens, because when you see aspen trees, you know that you're at higher elevations. Some amenities include 8 campsites with picnic tables and vault toilets. No water is available, so you should and must bring your own, as well as any solar batteries, solar power, things like that, because there's no hookups there. So those 2 campgrounds are really pretty close together. I'll show you them on the map. Hannagan Meadow, I've been to this one in the past a couple times. It's at 9,120 feet, 9,120 feet, and I got to tell you, if you go there early in the summer season, don't be surprised if you actually get snow there. I remember going there, and it was the end of May. It was around a Memorial Day weekend many years ago, and it was cold. It was so cold, I thought it was going to snow. I think it got down to 35 degrees that night and rained, and I looked out, and it was flurry. There were flurries coming down, so it is not unusual in the higher elevations in the first part of June, if we get a little cold spell, to see snow. So just be prepared for that. But if you go later in June and July and August, the weather should be much nicer, but rain should be expected. Both KP, Cienega, and Hannagan Campground are smaller campgrounds, so they're not really set up for huge motorhomes and fifth wheels and stuff like that. I think some of the length restrictions are, let's just say if you're 20 feet or under, you'll be fine. If you have a small teardrop trailer, or if you have a pickup truck with a camper shell on the back, or one of those pickup truck campers, cab-over campers, or a tent camping, or you have a small camper of some sort that you tow behind your car, you'll be fine. But if you have something in it like a 30-foot motorhome or a 30-foot trailer that you're towing behind you, you're going to have trouble getting in some of those spots. But let's go to number 3. Number 3 I've talked about before, and I think on my last video where I shared 10 campsites in Arizona that are free, that I think I included this one on the higher elevation. It's Big Lake, Arizona. Now, Big Lake, Arizona has some boondocking areas around Big Lake, but we are talking about the campgrounds right now. So let's show you those. Big Lake is an elevation of 9,000 to 9,100 feet. It's south of Greer and Eager in the White Mountains. This area features 5 different campgrounds, including Apache Trout, which is the only one in this area with full hookups. Brook Char is a tent-only site. It's a premier destination for trout fishing. And I will say that if you go on that recreation.gov website, you can book Big Lake, that first campground. Apache Trout and Rainbow is another one. It's a great campground. Some of these campgrounds are real close to the lake, but the closer they get to the lake, the smaller and more intimate the campground. And by that I mean you're not going to be able to get a huge motorhome in there or a big fifth wheel. If you're in a truck or a tent camper, you'll be fine. But if you try to get a big motorhome in some of the closer sites, campgrounds that are closer to Big Lake, you'll run into some difficulty. So you do want to go online and look at the information for each of those 5 campgrounds around Big Lake. You can use your America the Beautiful Pass to get 50% off if you reserve it, or if you go in person. Here's my recommendation for any of those campgrounds that I just talked about. Go during the middle of the week. If you're planning to go up to the mountains and you didn't make a reservation, my best advice is to first make a reservation if you can, or get up there on a Tuesday. Try to hit the campsite around noon, because that's when people leave, and that's your best time on Tuesdays and Wednesdays to find campsites in any of these mountain camp areas where there's campgrounds, is on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, because that's usually when people leave and go back to Phoenix or go back to the valley, and that's when you're going to stand the best chance of finding open campsites. So a little tip for you there. If you go on Friday or Thursday might luck out. Friday, you're going to run into people leaving the valley on Fridays trying to get up there to beat everybody else. So my best advice to you is try to get there early in the week. Get your spot, and then stay there. Plan to stay there for a week and enjoy the beautiful, cool temperatures of the high mountains. Let's get to the next one. Now, Big Lake was number 3. Let's go to number 4. And really, this one is not far from Big Lake. It's just north of there. This is Winn Campground, number 4 on my list, at the elevation of 9,100 feet, 9,100 feet. Winn Campground is real close to the town or the little community of Greer. Greer is kind of a cabin community, and they're open year-round, but boy, oh boy, at that elevation, they do close the roads in the wintertime because of snow sometimes. I know recently they had a fire come close to Greer, and of course, fires are something you always want to keep your ears open for in the summertime, especially if there's been a drought or a dry season ahead of that. So that's just something as a side note. Keep your ears open for any fire alerts. It's a high elevation site that provides access to West Fork of the Little Colorado River and is famous for being one of the few places to fish for native Apache trout. Some amenities at Winn Campground: large, well-maintained sites, vault toilets, showers, and potable water, which is nice. That's one of the sites. I think Rainbow at Big Lake also has water available, and dump station. As far as getting gas, if you're heading up to any of these remote destinations, get your gas in Show Low or there's a little town, I think Honda. There's a casino there, an Indian casino in Honda, I think is the name of it, that you can stop, and they have some of the cheapest gas in the area right there. Or get it in Show Low and fill your tank up, and then you'll be fine to make it all the way into these campgrounds. But do fill up as much as you get your groceries and everything like in Show Low, because once you get past Show Low and get on down to 260, the number of stores and shopping centers just disappear. So you want to make sure you fill up get all your food and everything ahead of time before you head up there. Just a little tip there for you. We usually get gas in Show Low and groceries in Show Low, and then head on into Big Lake. Now, my final campsite for you, this one, number 5, is what they call, I guess you could say, there's an expression, the cream of the crop, or the creme de la creme, as the French would say. This is considered by many people, one of the nicest campgrounds in Arizona, and I will say Tammy and I stayed there a year or two ago, and it is very nice. This is Canyon Point Recreation Area and Campground, and this is one that I will put a link up in the corner here because we stayed there. So if you want more information on that one, check out this video that I did on Canyon Point Campground. This one's a little more expensive. I believe the sites that have electricity run $45 a night, and the sites that have no electricity run about $35 a night. But again, things change, prices change, and it was 2 years ago that we stayed there, so there may have been some changes to that. But that was what my information that I got off the website just a few minutes ago. So that's my understanding about what Canyon Point offers that makes it some of the best camping. First of all, you're close to Forest Lakes and Forest Lakes Estate, a little cabin community. It's a really lovely little community. If you get a chance to drive through there and drive around, it's really nice. Lots of little cabins and mobile homes that are pulled in there. People have property. There is a little store, a little gas station, a little market there. Cell service near Forest Lakes is incredible. I think they must have like cell towers on each side of this town, because whenever we're around and camping near Forest Lakes, we get cell service that you wouldn't believe. So we have T-Mobile, and our friends have Verizon, and they get good reception within Forest Lakes area. What you get at Canyon Point is this campground has a dump station. It has water available. It has power sites. Not all of them have electricity, but some of them do. It has a garbage pickup, showers, really nice showers there. And it is a really nice campground. And you're close to, of course, Forest Lakes. You're close to Woods Canyon Lake, as well as some other lakes that are along the rim. And you're really not that far. If you wanted to drive up into Heber or drive down into Payson, you're not really that far from Payson. I think you're about a half an hour drive from Payson. So if you really had something that you needed an emergency, a tire repair, or some auto parts for your car or truck. And this is, things happen, when you're up in the mountains, and you're not that far from Payson, and there's a lot of amenities in Payson, a lot of stores that you can go get stuff that you might need. So I hope you find this helpful. And before we go, I'm going to pitch one little thing for you. I don't normally pitch stuff like this, but I'm going to pitch this for you. I just think this is incredible. I'm a techie guy. I've got my little pad here, and I keep maps on my pad and my phone. So I'm kind of a little bit of a techie. But there are times when you're camping that old school, there's nothing wrong with old school. And this is old school right here. This is a map. And I picked this up recently. This is the Arizona Road and Recreation Atlas. And you can get these through Walmart. You can also get them through Amazon. I'll put a link down below in the description so you can click on it and check it out. They have them for new. They have new, I think these run $28, $29. You can also pick them up used. So if you find a link down below next to this where they have some used maps. This was a used maps that I got. This one I picked up for like $24, $23. It was used. It's in great shape. There's nothing wrong with it at all. The new price is $29.95, and that's what you're going to pay on Amazon. But this is a really great map to have, and I'll tell you why, because it's very detailed. And if you're out camping, like we go sometimes where we don't have a signal, and we don't have any 3G, 4G, 5G, any of that. No G. We have no G. And when we get up in the mountains, sometimes you want to check out maps and find out, maybe look ahead someplace you want to go to. This one has detailed maps. It has landscape maps. It has recreation guides, details of roads as well as public lands. It shows you where the BLM lands are, the state trust lands, the reservation lands, all of that in a map. That's kind of nice to keep in your motorhome. So I'm going to keep this right by my door, and it's just a really, I don't know, there's something about maps that I just love, and I'll pull these out when I'm camping and just just sit there and gaze at it for a half an hour or an hour and dream about where I want to go next. But definitely on your list, if you are a map lover like me, get one of these. If you don't have them, it's a very handy map to have. It's the Arizona Road and Recreation Atlas. So I'm going to move on. Hope you found this helpful. Get out and enjoy. The summer temperatures are going to warm up. I just know it. When this video comes out, it's going to be May. And right now we're like 75, 80 right now. So it's really nice. But the hot temperatures are coming, right? And if you live in Phoenix, you just know that it's coming. It's around the bend. We actually, a month or two ago, we had temperatures 106 in March. Oh my goodness, can you believe it? The mornings were nice, but by the afternoon, 106. Oh, that's brutal in March. So I hope that's not a sign of things to come, but we kind of learned to deal with it here. So, right? If you live in Phoenix, if you live in Arizona, you just learn to deal with it. Thanks for watching. Safe travels wherever you go, and be careful out there. Enjoy the beautiful land that we have here. Enjoy the beautiful countryside, and get out and enjoy the cool temperatures in the Arizona mountains. You have a good day, and if you like this video, before you leave, please hit the like button. Catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.